Okay, let's go.
Financial freedom. It's one of those phrases that can feel, well, huge, right? Almost intimidating. In this explainer, we're going to change all that. We're breaking it down into a clear, manageable journey with 7 distinct stages. Let's get into it. But first, before we jump in, just take a second and really think about this question. For most of us, it boils down to something pretty simple. Having enough money that you don't have to work, unless you actually want to. It's all about choice, control, and designing the life you really want to live.
Okay, here it is, the roadmap to financial freedom. These 7 stages are going to take us all the way from dependency to abundance. Think of it as your own personal journey. And the most important first step is figuring out where you are right now, so you know exactly what to do next.
So let's start at the very beginning with the first 3 stages. This is all about building a rock-solid foundation and really gaining control over your financial life. Honestly, these early steps are absolutely critical for everything that comes later.
Stage 1 is dependency. And the key thing to remember here is that we all start here. It's the stage where your expenses might be higher than your income, and maybe you're relying on family or even credit cards to get by. It can feel tough for sure, but it's just the starting line.
So how do you move past dependency? You have to get a crystal clear picture of where you stand. And that means taking these first crucial actions. For a lot of people, the hardest one is just logging into every single account and adding it all up. But listen, this isn't about judging the past. It's about gaining control of the present. Facing the numbers is the first step to taking charge.
Taking those first steps brings us to stage 2, self-sufficiency. And this is a huge milestone. It's that point where you're covering your own bills without any outside help. You might still be living paycheck to paycheck, and that's totally okay. The key is you're no longer dependent, you're afloat.
A lot of financial experts also call this stage solvency. Now, it's not glamorous, and you might not be saving or investing a ton just yet, but you are in charge of your own financial life. You're meeting your needs month to month on your own terms, and that is a massive win.
This foundation builds directly into stage 3, stability. This is where you finally break that super stressful paycheck to paycheck cycle. For the very first time, you actually have money left over at the end of the month that you can start to save.
And your very first goal in this stage is a big one. Save a starter emergency fund of $1,000. This should become your top priority, no matter what other bills or debts you might have. This is your first real financial cushion.
As financial advisor Adrian Taylor Wells points out, having this cushion money is absolutely essential. And let's be clear, this isn't for fun stuff. It's for true emergencies. The car repair, the leaky roof, the unexpected medical bill, the things that would otherwise send you right back into debt.
All right, with a solid foundation built, the next 2 stages are where things get really exciting. We're shifting from playing financial defense to playing offense. This is where you start to actively grow your wealth.
Welcome to Stage 4, Security. The goal here is to create a true financial buffer, one that's strong enough to handle a short-term job loss without it becoming a full-blown crisis. This is all about creating genuine peace of mind.
So, how do you get that security? You focus on these 3 goals. You knock out high-interest debt, you build up your emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses, and now you start making your money work for you by investing in assets like brokerage accounts or even real estate.
And this illustrates the huge mental shift that happens here. In stage 3, your money was basically a safety net. Now in stage 4, it also becomes a wealth-building tool. You're moving from a defensive strategy to an offensive one, from just seeking peace of mind to actively creating future opportunities.
This brings us to stage 5, flexibility. This is where you really start to see all your hard work pay off. Your investments have been growing, and they've now reached a point where they can cover most, if not all, of your essential living expenses.
The key metric for this stage? Having enough saved and invested to cover 1 to 2 years of your living costs. Think about that. That grants you true flexibility. You could take a year off to travel, to write that novel, or just spend more time with family, all without financial stress. You have options.
We've built the foundation, and we've started growing our wealth. Now let's look at the final destination, the 2 ultimate goals of this entire journey, financial independence and abundance.
Stage 6 is financial independence. This is the moment so many people dream of, when you can walk away from your job for good because the income from your investments is enough to cover your living expenses. Reaching this stage means work finally becomes a choice, not a necessity. And finally, stage 7, financial abundance. This is the ultimate goal. You have more money than you will ever need, which means cost is no longer a factor in your decisions. You can travel where you want, support the causes you believe in, and help others in a really significant way.
So we've covered all 7 stages. But before we finish up, I want to bring the focus back to a core idea that really underpins this entire journey. It's about recognizing that this is a process, not just some far-off destination.
This slide just sums it up perfectly. It's so easy to think I'll be happy when I reach stage 6. But real financial freedom is found in the process, in the series of intentional decisions you make every single day. It's about being in control now, on the path you're walking.
So, as we wrap up, here are the key things to take away. This journey is yours and yours alone. It takes determination, but it is absolutely possible. The most important first step is to figure out exactly where you are on the map today so you can set clear goals for the future you are striving for.
We've laid out the map, from dependency all the way to abundance. The path is clear. But progress doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. So the only question left is this: you have the map. Where will you go next?